What is up, everybody out there in HeroClix land? This, once again, is Scott Porter back for day 3 of our brand new Marvel HeroClix unboxing series for the new set, Wheels of Vengeance. I don't know why I just said it like that. Wheels of Vengeance. Yeah, Wheels of Vengeance. Based primarily around the spirit of vengeance, Ghost Rider and all of his many incarnations, all of his many enemies, and also wheels. Motorcycles, also things you ride that aren't motorcycles, horses, steeds, anything, sharks. It seems like this set is kooky in all the best ways possible. It is scary, it is creepy, it is hellish at points, but it is also very fun and very light, and it is just fringe Marvel stuff that shouldn't be fringe, that should be more well read, quite frankly. I know that as I'm going through this, and this is why I love HeroClix so much. Ghost Rider, I said on day 1, I am not the most massive fan of Ghost Rider, but while researching this set, I started getting down that Ghost Rider rabbit hole, and it's really, really good, man. And then as I started to open these boosters up, and I started to see like Werewolf by Night, and I started to see, oh, this maybe Dracula's company. Oh, okay. All this great monster stuff that Marvel has done for such a long time and done it so well for such a long time. It sits out there and doesn't get the attention that it deserves. And now I want to go back and I want to reread it all. I mean, Legion of Monsters. Let's just talk about that book. Awesome book. You've got Morbius, you've got Elsa Bloodstone, you've got Encant the Living Mummy, you've got Simon Garth, a zombie, you've got, of course, Ghost Rider's a little bit involved in that stuff. Manphibian, I mean, Damon Hellstrom. I mean, you've got all these really cool characters that come from the realm of monsters, like these big monster movies, like old Hollywood classics, but with a Marvel spin on it. And some of it is so good. So I can't wait to go back and reread some of those books now and go even further down the lore of Ghost Riders. Look, I read Avengers. Robbie, for me, was a character that I really understood very quickly. A lot of the youth movement of Marvel, the champions, all these younger kids who are taking over the mantles of these long-established heroes. I've been reading them the last decade, and I like a lot of them, and I really love Robbie, the All-Rider. I mean, God, the guy is crazy powerful. He piloted a Celestial. I mean, it's crazy the stuff that he can do. But that being said, the old Ghost Riders, going back and going down the dark and sometimes very bloody, gory path of them, sometimes it makes me recoil a little bit, but the lore behind it is so good. So I'm so glad that this set is coming out, and it's coming out around Halloween, October 25th for pre-releases, November 11th for the actual set release. I'm having a blast. I hope you guys are as well. I know I asked yesterday, what's your favorite Ghost Rider story? What's your favorite Moon Knight story? We're going to continue going down that path. Like your favorite fringe Marvel stories, all that stuff, like the horror books, and sometimes the silly stuff too. It is all so cool. I can't wait to see what we have in today's boosters. And without further ado, I say we just get right into it. But now that I'm thinking about it, like, pieces I really want to see. Now I want to see the Legion of Monsters characters now, because we're getting these generics. We got Werewolf by Night and Man-Wolf. I'm guessing we're going to get a werewolf. We got a vampire. We got a zombie. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get a mummy. Any of those like generics, like a generic mummy. Sure. Manphibian. What is that? Like creature, like from a lagoon that may have a color that's darker in nature. Like any of these like guys, the fact that we're getting the generics, I think we've got to get the actual characters that were in Legion of Monsters. So I'm very excited. That being said, let's see what we got in today's first booster. Okay, we got Frenchie, who we saw on day 1, Moon Knight's compatriot. If you didn't see day 1, pause it, go back. We will be here waiting for you. Like Richard Marx once said, right here waiting for you. I would sing it, but I have a really bad sinus infection right now. Wherever you go, whatever you do. Dracula is there waiting for you. Let's see. And the orb who we did see yesterday and I did a little bit of story time for the orb. So really only one new figure, but I may pull the vampires card back up just because I want to see if it plays nice with Dracula at all. Okay, I'm going to pull these back. Listen, Dracula has had some dope stories in Marvel. The Aaron run on Avengers actually had a really fun, and this is super recent. Dracula's had much, much larger stories even back in the day. I mean, Otherworld, anywhere, Dracula is all over the place. You know, the vampire armies and secret worlds, you know, like Secret Wars and stuff. Like, there are a lot of things that Dracula has touched. But that Jason Aaron run was actually really, really fun. And it involved Blade 2, who we got yesterday. So I figured that Dracula was coming when we saw this vampire at first. Now I want to see how they did it, because Dracula in that was acting all old and frail, and he wasn't really able to do anything anymore, and blah, blah, blah. No, I want to see like a giant, like kick butt, like full power version of Dracula. Let's see if we get him. All right. Dracula is up to bat. Let's take a look at the sculpt first. Yeah, this more looks like feasting Dracula, not feeble Dracula. We've got Legion of Monsters, Vampire Brood, Monster, Mystical, Past, Ruler, Keyword, set number 26, King of the Vampires, 10 clicks long. Let's go. Dracula starts the game on click number 4. Steal Energy. When he uses it, he may heal past his starting line. When Dracula or a friendly vampire KOs an opposing character, after resolutions, you may generate a Wheels of Vengeance at number 9 vampire on its starting click in the square the KO'd character last occupied. You KO one of your opponent's figures, it becomes one of your vampires, and it hits the map fighting for you and Dracula. Look at that. That is pretty cool. All right, on the back, another trait, the scent of fresh blood. When Dracula damages one or more opposing characters after resolutions, choose up to 2 other friendly characters that can use Steal Energy. This turn, they have free, have speed, move. Also, the Impaler, of course, Vlad the Impaler, charge, flurry, and stealth. That's a special move power. Let's take a look where that falls on the front here. And yes, Avengers 17, that I believe is part of that Jason Aaron Avengers run. Dude, that story is so fun. So fun. He's facing off against the Legion of the Unliving, which I know back in the day was a bunch of dead superheroes come back to life for a long time, blah, 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 blah. But no, Legion of the Unliving is now a supervillain team, within the vampire political world. It starts a vampire civil war. Very, very fun story. Yeah. He has that special movement power on his last click, but also his first 3. But of course, you have to be able to heal up there. So flight, charge, 4 movement, no range, 2 targets. And remember, you can attack more than one adjacent opponent at once if you have multiple targets now. So, you know, trying to get that Steal Energy to tick him back up. Very cool, though, that when either he or a friendly vampire KO another figure on the map, a vampire will pop up. So let's take a look now at the vampires card, and we'll put the sculpt back up there for the vampire. So you're getting this guy on click number 3 with stealth, with blades. I mean, pretty dangerous to just pop up, especially if you've been duking it out with your opponent in close quarters for a little bit. When you get that KO, you get a fresh vampire to pop up. Now, of course, your opponent can score that for another 25, but, I mean, popping up with stealth and blades, a 10 attack, shape change, I mean, very annoying, tough to kill, very dangerous, easily can deal some big damage if the rolls go the right way. Yeah, Dracula creating a little army of vampires is very, very dangerous indeed. I like it. I really like it. And yeah, we saw Legion of Monsters in those keywords, so now I'm super excited to see more of those guys. I hope that I get to pull some for sure. That would be a lot of fun. Okay, we do have one of the cards, and this is awesome, guys. Howard the Duck and Man-Thing. I'll show you the text here on the front on one of the cards. And on the back it says, team building tips, Howard the Duck and Man-Thing. So if you don't know, yes, that odd pair actually is linked together through a lot of comics in Marvel history. When Howard the Duck first appeared, it was as like a little side story at the back end of Man-Thing's actual comic books. So the story of Man-Thing, as tragic as it is, also had this Howard the Duck quirky character on the backside. So Man-Thing, very, very gory, very scary, very kind of dark and broody. And Howard the Duck, this more like, I don't know, like it's a duck detective. I don't even know how to like, you know, it's what Marvel does so well, mixing those two things together. They're doing the same thing with this set. We're getting some lighter fare, some crazy characters like the Orb, but we're getting the dark, really dangerous stuff as well. So very cool. I know that you guys read it, but from the humble beginnings to Duck World to the nexus of all realities, meet Howard and Man-Thing's motley crew. So very, very interesting to see him and Ted Sallis together. And I think it's telling us, of course, we see the sculpts on the card. Man-Thing, Howard the Duck are coming as a part of this set, which I would not necessarily have told you I would have expected. All right, let's see. Let's cut the bottom. Finding it much easier with these boosters to just open from the bottom instead of from the top. There's a lot of tape up there. There's a lot of ground to cover. Okay, let's see. Oh, yes. Okay, we got one of the generics I thought we might get. Ooh. And we got another Ghost Rider, folks. But not only did we get Ghost... Oh, this is cool. This is a really cool booster. Okay, sorry, guys. I know I'm having a little journey on my own without including you guys. I'm sorry. Okay, this is what happens when I open a booster and I look at it and I'm like, whoa, 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 look at this thing, that thing, this thing. We've got a mummy, a generic mummy figure. Very excited about that. I mean, the fact that the living mummy can be a part of this set, I think, is going to happen. I'm super excited. But look at the scale on that Howard. Howard the Duck. Who knew? That's awesome. Then we have Death Rider. Death Rider happens to be the same person as this next figure I'm going to pop out here. Ooh, hold on. Oh, the Ghost Riders are a little tricky to pull out. That's right. We have the next Ghost Rider, Danny Ketch. I mean, look at that. I mean, look, we'll get a close up, but I'm just going to let those guys stand there just for scale, just so everybody gets a sense of like the range and scale that we're getting in the sculpts of this set, how small Howard is, how giant that mummy is. He's not even like the biggest one in the set, but very, very cool nonetheless. All right, let's see. I'm going to pull these guys back. We'll look at the generic piece first. We'll look at the mummy. Very, very excited to see him here. Of course, it looks way different than in the living mummy, but still really cool. And I love how tall it is. I love how big it is. It's very imposing, which is what you want out of a generic mummy, I think. You've got Monster, Mystical Past, Ruler, set number 7, Creeping Death. Great name. Special defense power, Invincible. Mummy can't be healed or be chosen from Mastermind. He's got Invincible all the way down its dial. Like I said, 30 points. Moves very slowly. On the back, you can see you got sidestep, plasticity, super strength, close combat expert, all things that you would expect to see on a mummy. But yes, moves very, very slowly. Look at the front of Cardigan. You'll see sidestep with 3 movement. So you can get 5 spaces maximum out of this creeping death, kind of shambling body full of tissues. Great. That's awesome. Mummy. Boom. Check. Another check mark for me. Let's do Howard next. And this Howard, I don't think that we've seen this costume before. This is like his original OG look. I think a lot of people are used to like the more like the reds and the greens and the stuff that he wears nowadays. He's always got a cigar hanging out of his mouth and stuff. This is more old school Howard. We've got Defenders, Animal, Celebrity, Martial Artist, Mystical, Politician, set number 5. Quack Shot is a trait, Ranged Combat Expert, Probability Control, but only to target himself, has a team player, team ability there. You can see he's got some improved targeting on his dial, part of that quack shot, I suppose. He's got some stealth at the front of his dial, close combat reflexes. Look at the back of the card. And it's funny, this one says Ghost Rider 82 from 1997, but I do remember going back and looking at those old Man-Thing issues, and this costume, I believe, is what he wears in the back part of that book. You know, every page had that kind of like sepia tone to it. You know, had the old school like dots everywhere in the color and everything. Howard has been around a lot longer than I think people realize. So really cool to have him in this form here. He's so tiny. He is so tiny. Okay, let's go. Actually, I'm going to go with Ghost Rider first, Danny Ketch. So Ghost Rider, Danny Ketch. You know, when Johnny Blaze was out, everybody, you know, Spirit of Vengeance, Johnny Blaze is tied to Zarathos. Johnny Blaze does everything he can to defeat Zarathos. And then a new Ghost Rider shows up on the scene, and the assumption is, right, that Danny Ketch has to have this same demon has come back and just chose a new partner. That is not the case. Danny's story is much, much different than Johnny. Ghost Rider, Defenders, Fantastic Four, Midnight Suns, Mystical, and Vehicle. Set number 34. Justice shall be served. Friendly characters that have been damaged this turn have Defenders and Mystics. Very cool. He was a member of the Defenders, also a member of the Fantastic Four at a certain point with Wolverine and the Hulk. Very, very cool. Spirit of Vengeance. When Ghost Rider attacks an opposing character that took damage from Mystics since your last turn, we've seen this. We saw this shared trait. He deals penetrating damage. If the friendly character that dealt damage from Mystics also had this trait, Ghost Rider increases damage dealt by +1 during that attack. Okay, ignores elevated for his improved movement, which is cool. How many times do you see these Ghost Rider bikes just driving up walls, right? Got some charge, has a special attack power we'll see on the back here. Sweeping chain. Yeah, when I think of Danny Ketch, I think of him with that pointed end of his chain, always grabbing people, always dragging people. He uses it so much. Giant reach 2, close. Make a close attack targeting all adjacent opposing characters. Instead of normal damage, roll a d6 and divide damage equal to the result among all hit characters. And yeah, giant reach into that close attack. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Also, has exploit weakness on those clicks. So you're splitting this exploit weakness empowered damage. It's going to be penetrating past all defenses there. That's pretty awesome. So sweeping chain here for Danny Ketch. And I love how different his bike is. It's so cool. I need to see if it has the medallion on it, because it has a special medallion. I see it carved into the top. It's not lit up. I was hoping it would be lit up, but he does have this medallion on the top of his bike there. See, Danny's story, and I know I said not a ton of story time with Scotty P throughout this unboxing series, but I think it's important to delineate between Johnny Blaze, Danny Ketch, Robbie Reyes, all the different Ghost Riders, where they come from, how they're powered, etc., etc. Danny is actually from like a mystical line of protectors, and of course Vengeance is a part of it, but it's not that he's tied to a demon. He's driven by something else completely, all in of itself. You know, when Danny found the motorcycle that had the medallion that gave him the powers of the Ghost Rider, it was actually, he was escaping from a graveyard. He had gone to a graveyard, and Danny's very tied to New York, whereas Johnny's not. Johnny's open road, Johnny's out and about, Johnny's, you know, carnivals, you know, stunt riders, all over the place, nomad. Danny is way more tied to New York. From New York, they're in Brooklyn, they go to a graveyard. There happens to be a gang fight happening between some of Kingpin's men and another gang, and his sister gets wounded. He runs to a junkyard. He tries to hide her. He tries to save her. She passes away. He finds this bike, and of course, his pain, his anguish, tied into the power of the Ghost Rider is why he's so after vengeance. But he's in control of it in a much different way, because Johnny so often is not in control of himself and deals with such more gore and such more deep mythology and lore in the nether realms. Danny, not as much of that stuff. Now, he gets there eventually, but his start is much different. He's so different, in fact, that Johnny Blaze shows up and battles Danny, thinking that, of course, the demon Zarathos has returned, and that is not the case. They end up finding out they're actually both related by blood. They were separated when they were young to keep this bloodline that leads all the way back to Jennifer Kale. And I'm not going to go too deep into all this stuff, but Jennifer Kale, weird world, Nexus of Realities man thing, like Jennifer Kale's been around for a long, long time. They're related to this mystic line of blood. And they find out that they're brothers, and they've been somewhat partners ever since. So that is kind of the beginnings of the differences between Danny and Johnny. There's tons more, but that's the start of it. Danny for a while, was able to way more readily turn on and turn off Ghost Rider, that kind of entity and that shared space. But the lore behind Danny Ketch's Ghost Rider is really, really cool. I suggest you guys go and check it out. The cool thing now is Marvel has 2 different Ghost Rider books that are happening right now, in both Johnny Blaze's Ghost Rider and Danny Ketch's Ghost Rider. So worth checking them both out. See if one of them is your Ghost Rider, or maybe it's Robbie. Whoever it is, really, really cool though. Anyway, Death Rider. That is the last character here. And the reason I showed that Ghost Rider first, also that has the hero glow. I'll put the scope back up there just one more time. The hero glow stuff. You won't have to be searching for these guys in your tackle boxes with all your Clix figures. They do pop so well, and we're gonna have glow elements and everything. I'm gonna put Death Rider on here right away, and you guys will be able to check him out as well. Death Rider. Why did I wait to put Death Rider on? Well, Death Rider also happens to be who we just looked at, Danny Ketch. This is a different version of Danny, not a different version, but a different moniker that Danny took on. After a battle with Johnny Blaze, where he rips the Ghost Rider entity and spirit away from Danny and throws him off a bridge and leaves him for dead, he ends up going into limbo, battling some demons of Belasco, a different realm of demons, and ends up becoming a different spirit. Let's look here. Midnight Suns, Mystical, set number 33. He is the spirit of corruption, as blessed, quote unquote, by Belasco here. He has a plan, but you won't like it. Trait: when a character, friendly or opposing, with the mystical keyword is KO'd, after resolutions, generate a Sarah bystander. Interesting. If Death Rider is the only character on your force, generate a Sarah bystander. Okay, so Sarah pops out in one of 2 ways, right? When a character with the mystical keyword is KO'd, or when Death Rider is the only figure left on your force. Charge, blades, exploit. A lot of damage dealing power there up front. On the back, call me Death Rider, blades, claws, fangs. Poison, giant reach of X, where X is equal to Death Rider's current click number. Are you kidding me? That's awesome. Also, we look at Sarah there on the bottom. When we knew Sarah was coming, because we saw her on the Dice and Tokens pack, Sarah has some sidestep, has a special attack power, just need a little room to breathe. Blades, claws, fangs, penetrating psychic blast. And Mephisto is bad. Lilith is worse. Their support and perplex. Yes, Lilith, the mother of all demons, right? Is who they're talking about here. I'm going to look back at the front again. 4 clicks, where giant reach of X, where X is equal to Death Rider's current click number. So by the time that special power pops up, he's already on click 5. Giant reach of 5, giant reach of 6, giant reach of 7, giant reach of 8 with a 12 attack and close combat expert pumping up your stats. Oh my gosh, that is so great. And Blades, Claws, Fangs, just by the way, as a part of that special power. I think that thing is so cool. Giant reach of 8. Are you kidding me? That is insane. So yeah, so Death Rider, he doesn't have the orange flames as Ghost Rider does. He actually has this like green, corrosive, corrupting kind of stuff that comes out of him. So that's Death Rider for you. And yeah, boom, both Danny Ketch, and they came in the same booster, which is really, really cool. We have a card here, and yeah, it says motorcycle characters. It's got the orb on it. You guys can pause and read. I'm not going to read the whole thing. On the back, though, pirate trait insight. Pirate. I said pirate, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Pilot trait insight. Man, I've got Halloween on the brain. I'm thinking pirates. Anyway, who knows? We might have a pirate ship in here. We might have somebody riding a pirate ship. Who knows? But the pilot trait insight. That pilot trait has a really cool addition. I love the variants that it gives you as far as characters that you can put onto the card that pop out as though they're riding on the vehicle that this particular character is riding as well. And one thing I wanted to say about that card with the orb, I said I wasn't going to read it all, but I do think it's cool. They say, try adding a set number 23 health cycle or a set number 24 motorcycle. So there are generic cycles? Are they like, they're not equipable. I thought they might be equipment. I thought we might get like vehicles as equipment in this set, but no, they're actual figure bases. And what you do is you equip, I think, I haven't seen one of them yet, but I'm guessing like through this pilot trait, you basically equip a character to that vehicle. I don't know. Hopefully we'll pull a motorcycle or a health cycle. It gives me a lot of hope that maybe we could pull the Mooncopter. That would be so cool. Anyway, all right. For today, our special little bonus that we're going to open is actually going to be the Play at Home kit, and this one is for Ghost Rider. You can tell this is Johnny, and if you're not familiar with Play at Home kits, it's a great way to know exactly what you're getting in a box. It gives you a ton of stuff that you need for the game of HeroClix, a bunch of elements. Play at Home kits are a great way for players to get an awesome new character and map to match the Wheels of Vengeance HeroClix set, burn rubber with Ghost Rider, and leave a trail of special fire terrain in your wake. So we've read about fire terrain being a thing in this set. Now we know where it's coming from. You get it in this Play at Home kit. So without further ado, let's open it up and let's see. The thing I love about these Play at Home kits is they usually pick pretty specific versions of a character from a specific storyline. It's just another cool way to get really particular with a character. And with Ghost Rider, I'm very interested to see what they chose here. All right, let's get the figure out. We've got another Johnny Blaze already, so we can kind of like stack the two of them up against each other. But I'll give you a little widescreen angle of him, I guess, first, and open up the rest of this case. Johnny's been around for a long time, right? Johnny Blaze has been around for a long, long time. And I'm excited to see which ones we get here. First, let's see. As I'm opening this up, I'm noticing that the terrain markers say fire, smoke. So it doesn't say fire, but it's smoke, but it has fire there. So cool. I think they're not necessarily like unique terrain markers. I think you can use a smoke marker if you want to, but if you're generating fire terrain, I think you can just use the smoke markers for that. But this is a really cool game element to show that is actually on fire. I wonder what the fire terrain markers actually do. I know some of the other markers have special abilities, and hopefully we find a character that spawns it or that can tell us how to use it. That being said, we have, we've got a legacy card. So before you look at this Ghost Rider, let's look at the Ghost Rider that the legacy card is attached to for this. That would be the legacy Ghost Rider. This is Ghost Rider from the Amazing Spider-Man HeroClix set number 46. And this is the legacy card that's included. Unfortunately, the figure is mine. You do not get this figure. Hopefully you still have him in your collection. If you don't, go out and grab him. Got Champions, Heroes for Hire, Legion of Monsters, Midnight Suns, Mystical, and Vehicle keywords. Rider for Hire, free. Once per game, make an attack. Once per game, make an attack. For free. Just once in the game. A special attack power beyond the realms of death, poison. Free. Choose an opposing character within 3 squares with 2 action tokens and deal them 1 penetrating damage. Another special damage power this time, guided by a higher calling, close combat expert, probability control. You can see that 7-click long dial. He will be played at 80 points. That is the legacy card that is included with the Play at Home kit, and that is the sculpt. And that, for back in the day, is a pretty great sculpt. He looks really good on this close-up turntable, too. You can see him screaming, the hair's flying. But let's take a look now at what the new sculpt looks like for Johnny Blaze. Boom. Look at that, man. Whew. That sculpt is awesome. I love the fire trails coming off the back of the bike, both of the wheels, front and back. You can see this thing just ripping through the plains, just chasing bad guys down. We'll take a look at his card here. And I'm very interested to see where this Ghost Rider is coming from. Let's see. Champions, Defenders, Marvel Knights, Midnight Suns, Thunderbolts, Mystical, Vehicle, keywords. Summoning Hellfire. When Ghost Rider hits, or when a friendly character is hit by an opposing character, after resolutions, generate a fire smoke terrain marker adjacent to the attacking character. At the beginning of your next turn, even if this is lost, deal 1 damage to a character occupying that marker, then remove the marker. So the fire smoke terrain markers are another way to cause damage that has a triggered effect on your next turn. So really, really cool. You will pay for your sins, steal energy, willpower. Okay, you can see some improved movement there. I want to know where this Ghost Rider is from, though, because this thing is 200 points, 11 clicks long. This is uber-powered Ghost Rider to the max, unleashed. Okay, look at the back here. Blazing Hellchain, Poison, Quake, Giant Reach of 4, quaking from 4 squares away. When Ghost Rider uses poison, opposing characters within 4 squares occupying or adjacent to any fire markers are considered adjacent and are dealt penetrating damage instead. Wow. I mean, this is a crazy powerful version of Ghost Rider. I'm really, really impressed with all of this. Vengeance fuels me, stop. Invincible, regeneration. Ghost Rider has safeguard, outwit. It says that Ghost Rider 5 from the 2022 series is going to be the basis of this particular Ghost Rider. If we go back to the front of the card, though, I want to see how many stop clicks this guy actually has. You see 3 there. This is a little bit bonkers. Pretty much out of control here. The power on this guy, the power output on this guy is pretty substantial. You see Close Combat Expert, as well as Exploit Weakness, as well as Battle Fury. All of these things ticking off back to back to back. Pretty substantial dial, if I do say so myself. This is actually a really, really good version of Ghost Rider, if I do say so myself. Now, what I said was the Ghost Rider series that this comes from is actually Benjamin Percy's Ghost Rider, I believe. It's the recent Ghost Rider series that he put out where Johnny wakes up in Hayden's Falls, this town with the idyllic life. He's married, his wife is still alive, his children are still alive. Everybody in town seems to know who he is, and he keeps on seeing visions, though. He keeps on seeing the dog that's barking next door is actually a demon. He goes to therapy. He goes to a therapist. He doesn't, understand really quite where he is. He feels like he's in a fog. Turns out that Blackheart has put him away in this imaginary town, and that he's in hell. And everything around him, they are all demons playing a part, trying to keep him locked away. And there's a new character, Zebediah, the magician, who I hope Zeb the magician is in this set. That would be awesome. Shows up and kind of unlocks Johnny's mind a little bit and lets him see that where he is living is in fact not this town. These demons playing as his wife and children are actually punishable demons. And the difference with this Johnny is every time he loses control, he does not remember anything. Once the spirit of vengeance takes over, it is capable of catastrophic damage, of destroying leveling entire towns. And he'll wake up naked somewhere behind a dumpster after it's all said and done and not have any memory or recollection of anything that's happening to him. The other thing that's really weird with this Johnny Blaze, the thing that started it all is he got in an accident and he cracked his skull open. Where the stitches are, there are teeth in there. And as you go throughout the series, that thing starts to open up more and more. And you find out that there's something living inside Johnny Blaze. I don't want to say anything more. Really, really cool characters. Agent Warroad used to be a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. She used to protect against monsters. She was basically S.H.I.E.L.D.'s monster hunter. She is now on the trail of Ghost Rider in this book. There are some other really interesting, really cool characters as well. This one, Percy doesn't pull any punches. It's pretty gory. It's pretty bloody. It's pretty creepy and spooky and scary. But you know what? Halloween's coming up, so give it a read. I actually really like it. I love Zeb as a new character. Really think he's cool. And there's a road rally race in the middle of it where he's like racing against all these superheroes and supervillains from across the road. It's called like Hell's Run or something like that. It's in like issue 4 or 5. It's so fun. It's like, I don't know, it's like Speed Racers Road Rallies meets Marvel Comics Ghost Rider, and everybody's racing across the desert in motorcycles. And it's like I said, it's Crossbones, it's a Doombot, it's Wolverine, it's Elektra. I mean, it's everybody that rides a motorcycle is in this race. It's really, really, really cool and worth giving a read. So the only other part I haven't shown you yet from this is actually the map. We actually do have an image though, and HyperRPG can throw that up for you guys right now. One map is going to be Blitzkrieg Manhattan. And the other side of the map is going to be Dormammu's dimension. And that is going to be, of course, the dark dimension. So you guys can take a pause, look at the terrain on these maps to help yourself decide if this play-at-home kit is something that you guys would want to pick up. I personally think this thing is pretty rad. I love the way Johnny looks in this. And I love the story that's being pulled from, and I love just the massive amount of damage that this Ghost Rider can actually do. So super excited about that. I mean, look, we've got all kinds of Ghost Riders. You got Cosmic Ghost Rider, who has actually Frank Castle. Hopefully we get a Frank Castle in this set. I was talking about Legion of Monsters earlier. There's Frankenstein, like the actual, like, Frankenstein that's Frank Castle. That could be a cool addition to this set. Cosmic Ghost Rider, of course. He's not the only one that's been Cosmic Ghost Rider, but that level, that Ghost Rider unleashed vengeance right there that we saw in that play-at-home kit is really, really cool. And it's an extra added flavor to the set of Wheels of Vengeance that I think was needed. And I know I'm going to be picking it up. Anyway, without further ado, we are going to end today's video. That is our 2 boosters and our play-at-home kit. Tomorrow, we'll be back with 2 more boosters and another play-at-home kit. And then Friday for day 5, of course, all of the legacy figures will be unveiled. I am super excited about this set. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite character that we've pulled so far is. And if you're going to pick up that play-at-home kit, let me know in the comments below if that's something that you're interested in. I would love to see, and I know WizKids would as well. I want to say thank you to you for sticking with me. I know these videos get a little long sometimes. It's, we're we have some story time with Scotty P, and we explain some characters, and I think it's necessary. I think the difference between Johnny and Danny is really important, in that everybody should at least have a cursory knowledge going into a set like this. Thank you to HyperRPG Studios for hosting us once again for this incredible unboxing series. Thank you to WizKids for sending me this stuff to share with you guys. And thank you to our comic shops and our gaming stores, our brick and mortar stores, your neighborhood shops that carry WizKids products for us to all meet and to be able to play in tournaments and to see each other and really build community. Call those shops, call those comic book stores, and ask when they're going to be holding their pre-release. They're going to be starting the week of October 25th, and when you can get your hands on the set, which releases on November 11th. Support your local brick and mortar comic shops and game stores. They are the lifeblood of our game, and they are so important to us. I can't wait for tomorrow for day number 4. It's day number 4 already, when we open some more Wheels of Vengeance goodness. I will see you guys then, but until I do, may all your rolls be critical hits. Oh my gosh, I actually rolled one!